Physics Class 11 Chapter 7 Systems of Particles and Rotational Motion. In the last class we have studied vector product. Today we shall study angular velocity, its relation with linear velocity and angular acceleration. Now every particle of a rotating body moves in a circle which lies in a plane perpendicular to the axis and has its center on the axis. Now this we have studied that if you are having a rotation of a body is rotating with a fixed axis, then each particle, every particle in this rotating body, you can look here in rotating body that it will describe a circle or move in a circle. I have taken this point P and the body is rotating around this axis. This is the axis of rotation. I have taken Z axis, so it is rotating like this, right? If it is rotating, then this point P, we are considering only one point here, it is rotating in a circle with center on this axis and this is the radius. In this distance it is rotating, and that way each point is rotating, and this plane will be perpendicular to the axis. When it is rotating, it will be perpendicular to the axis. Now let us define angular position. The angle made by any particle of a rigid body with respect to reference time is called angular position. So angular position means it is the angle made by any particle of a rigid body with respect to the reference time, that we call as a angular position. So angular position means the angle at which made by a particle of a rigid body with respect to the reference of time, given reference of time. And the unit we use is radian because it is angle, so the unit is used is radian. Angular displacement delta theta. During rotation of rigid body, the change in angular position of a particle is called angular displacement. So angular displacement depends on angular position. It is the change in the angular position of the particle that we call it as the angular displacement. Mathematically, delta theta equal to theta 2 minus theta 1. This also is measured in radian. Theta 2 is suppose the final position, theta 1 is the initial position. So the difference between the final and initial position will give you the angular displacement delta theta. You can look in this figure. Suppose at time t, then point is at P. So this is suppose the position is theta 1, and after some time it is going to P dash, and the angle angular position is theta 2. Then the difference between them, that will be theta 2 minus theta 1, that is this value will call as a angular displacement. So this angle delta theta is the angular displacement. In the figure, particle at point P of a rigid body describes a circle with center C on the axis. We can see this in this figure. You have got particle P which is describing a circle with center C, and center C is on the axis. The radius of the circle is r and v is a linear velocity. Now I take this as the radius of the circle and velocity v. This is linear velocity. Linear velocity, so it is tangential. Linear velocity is always tangential to the that point. So at this point it is tangential, so it is in this direction. Let radius of let p dash be the position of particle after an interval of time delta t. Now after some time delta t, the point P is moving and it is reaching here P dash. So that is the final position after time delta t. Angle P C P dash equal to delta theta is the angular displacement. So this angle delta theta is the angular displacement. I was telling you before when I define angular displacement. Next, let us define the average angular velocity of particle over the interval delta t. It is given by change in displacement with respect to time. So delta theta by delta t. Here angular displacement, so we will take angular displacement delta theta by delta t. So average velocity, angular velocity, because it is angle, therefore you can say average angular velocity of a particle over the interval of delta t is given as delta theta by delta t. So that is the definition of average angular velocity. So for that you require delta theta, that is angular displacement. Angular displacement is change in the position with respect to time. And that rate of change of time will give you the velocity, angular velocity delta theta by delta t. Now suppose you take delta t tends to 0, then we get instantaneous angular velocity, and that symbol we use as omega equal to d theta by dt. So this is the angular velocity given as omega is equal to d theta by dt, right? So when we take the time limit tending to 0, then this will be we get as instantaneous angular velocity as omega equal to d theta by dt. The unit of this is radian per second, and the dimension is m naught L naught t minus 1. This is the dimension, right? So remember, the angular velocity is defined as omega is equal to d theta by dt. This is your angular velocity, and the linear velocity we have considered as vector v. Okay, and this also is a vector quantity. Okay, omega also is a vector quantity. Now let us see the relation of angular velocity with linear velocity, that is with vector c. Okay, so let us see what is the relation of linear velocity with angular velocity. Now linear velocity v equal to rpp dash divided by time, right? See, now you can look in this figure. The particle is moving from p to p dash, so it is covering the distance in the linear motion as p to p dash, right? So this distance it is covering. So this distance is like the r. So this is the distance p dash, that is the r, divided by the time, right? That will give you the velocity. V is equal to displacement by time. So this is the, here in this direction, this arc it has curved p to p dash. So this arc divided by the time interval. But you know the relation between the arc, the radius and the angle, right? We know the relation equal arc given as r into theta, right? This arc is given as delta theta into r. The product of delta theta, this angle, into the radius will give you the arc. Okay, this relation we know that p dash r equal to delta theta into r. So we can use the relation and put the value of r p dash equal to r delta theta divided by delta t, and this r as it is delta theta by delta t, we know we have defined it as the angular velocity. So it will be omega. So we can put here delta theta by delta t is equal to omega. So here r into omega. That means what we have proved, linear velocity v equal to r omega. So v equal to r omega. So this is the relation of velocity, linear velocity with angular velocity. Now suppose r, for particles on the axis r equal to 0. Now this r is 0. The particles on this axis, right? There is no radius, so r is 0. So if r is 0, put here r equal to 0. So v equal to r into omega equal to 0 into omega equal to 0. That means the particle on the axis are stationary. There is no linear velocity, means they are stationary, they are not moving. So particles on the axis are stationary because of this relation. Okay, you get velocity as 0. We use the same angular velocity omega for all particles, and the angular velocity is not different for different particles in a rigid body. It will be the same for whole body. Okay, therefore omega is angular velocity of the whole body. So omega will be the angular velocity for the whole body. It will be not different for different particles. It will be the same for whole body. Okay, omega is a Greek word or Greek letter we use for the angular velocity. In pure rotation, all parts of the body have the same angular velocity omega at any instant of time, and in a pure rotation of body, there will be all the particles will have got the same angular velocity. Okay, we know that if it's a pure translation motion, then their velocity, linear velocity is same. Similarly, for pure rotational motion, the angular velocity is same. So omega is equal to d theta by dt is a vector. Okay, before I was telling you that omega also is a vector, so we can say that omega equal to d theta by dt is a vector. Now let us find the value of vector omega cross vector r. Okay, so let us find the value of omega cross r. Omega is the angular velocity and r is the position vector. Okay, position vector of any point will take. So what is the cross product of the angular velocity and the position vector of any point, right? So let us consider now the cross product of omega and r. Vector omega is directed along a fixed axis in this z-axis, and position vector of point P OP equal to r with respect to origin O on the axis of rotation. Now in this figure we can see that we know that we already said that the angular velocity of the whole body will be same. So the angular velocity is in this direction. See, I have shown this arrow omega. So this is the axis of rotation, z-axis, and omega is in this direction. Okay, omega is in this direction. That is, omega means angular velocity. And this is point P. Suppose the center of the axis is here O, okay, then the position vector of this point P is given as OP vector R, okay, this vector R. This is omega, right? Omega is angular velocity, so this will be also omega here, right? For this will be omega over this side, this point P. Since omega is over here, that is angular velocity, so angular velocity for P also will be here, okay, perpendicular to the axis, the radius, right? Now we, as I said, we want to find omega cross R. So write omega cross R, omega as it is, cross R. Now R, this vector R I have to define. You use triangle law of vector addition. So here, see, this is OC, this is CP, gives you OP, right? This is perpendicular, so I am calling it R perpendicular. This C to P is, I have called as R perpendicular, right? And this is OC, CP will give you OP. This is triangle law of vector addition. So I am using to find vector R using triangle law of vector addition, that is OC plus CP. So I have written here OC plus CP. But here, if you know that this cross product is distributive over the addition, so you can multiply here in this omega cross OC plus omega cross CP. Now you can see that OC is in this direction, right? And omega also is in this direction. OC is going from here and omega also is in this direction. That means they are parallel. Okay, omega is parallel to OC. If they are parallel, that means sine 0, angle between them is 0. That means sine 0 is 0. So we can say that omega cross OC will be 0. Why? Because they are parallel. Angle between them is 0. So this will be 0. Plus omega cross CP as it is. As omega is perpendicular to CP, okay, we can see that this is omega in this direction, okay, and CP is in this direction. So omega is this, CP is this, so they are perpendicular, okay. At this also I have drawn here, this omega, this CP, which are perpendicular. So if we denote CP equal to vector R perpendicular, so I define this or denote this by R perpendicular, then we can say this one omega cross R equal to omega into R perpendicular. Okay, this is the magnitude we can define as R perpendicular, and this will be tangential. Okay, you can see this will be tangential to the this is a tangential to the circle. Omega cross R is a vector of magnitude omega R perpendicular and is along the tangent to the circle described by the particle P. The linear velocity V has the same magnitude and direction at P. Therefore, vector V equal to omega cross vector R. Okay, so what we can say that, as I was saying that omega cross R is a vector of magnitude omega R perpendicular and it is along the tangent to the circle described by the particle P. So it will be tangential, okay. The cross product of omega and R will be perpendicular, okay, sorry, tangential to the circle. So it is in this direction and it will be same as the velocity, linear velocity. Okay, it is the same as velocity in magnitude and direction both. That means we can say this cross product omega cross R is nothing but the velocity V. So this is a relation between the omega R and velocity. Okay, so this is for a cross product and this we have taken for the directly using the arc and the time. Next we have got angular acceleration. The symbol is used as alpha. Angular acceleration alpha is a time rate of change of angular velocity omega. So change in angular velocity will give you the angular acceleration. Symbol is used as alpha. So mathematically alpha is equal to d omega by dt, right? Change in angular velocity with respect to time, d omega by dt. This gives you the angular acceleration. Now we know that omega is equal to d theta by dt. Okay, we already defined that omega is equal to d theta by dt. So I put here omega equal to d theta by dt and this d by dt as it is. Then this will give you d square theta by dt square. So this is the angular acceleration in terms of displacement, angular displacement, and this is with respect to the angular velocity, right? So alpha is equal to d omega by dt or d square theta by dt square. So this is in terms of angular displacement and this is in terms of angular velocity. So we remember both. The unit of angular acceleration is radian per second square and the dimension formula is m0 L0 t minus 2. Next we have got example 7.4. Find scalar and vector product of vector A equal to 3i cap minus 4j cap plus 5k cap b equal to minus 2 I cap plus j cap minus 3 k cap. So a dot b is given as first dot product. So these 3i minus 4j plus 5k dot this value minus 2i plus j minus 3k. 3 into minus 2 will give you minus 6. Minus 4 into plus 1 will give you minus 4. 5 into minus 3 will give you minus 15. Sum total you get minus 25. This is dot product. Now cross product will be a cross b equal to, we use the determinant. Okay, this determinant I j k, first vector a, that is 3 minus 4 5. Okay, and vector b, that is minus 2 plus 1 and minus 3. Okay, now determinant to open I cap, and you have to do cross product minus 4 into minus 3. Okay, that gives you minus 4 into minus 3 is 12, minus 5 into 1, that is 5, minus j cap. Okay, this one, then 3 into minus 3 will give you minus 9, minus 2 into 5, minus 2 into 5 is 10, but it is minus 10, but again there is a minus in the formula, so it will become plus 10, plus k cap. So 3 into 1 3, minus 2 into minus 4 is plus 8, so minus 8. Okay, so what we are doing is, when I take the I cap, I will product these two, minus 4 minus 3 here, minus 5 into 1. Okay, there is minus in the formula, right? Then when you take j cap, you multiply 3 in minus 3, and minus of minus 2 minus 5 will give you plus 10. Okay, and when you do k, you do 3 into 1 is 3, minus 2 into minus 4 is plus 8, so it becomes minus 8. Okay, and 12 minus 5 is 7 I cap, minus j, minus 9 plus 10 is plus 1, so it remains only j, plus k cap, 3 minus 8 is minus 5, so it comes minus 5. Okay, so that is the solution for example 7.4. We have found the scalar product and the vector product. In the scalar product you get only the scalar value, and in vector product you get a vector. We'll keep this much for today. Thank you very much.